Now, a few years ago, the Royal Mint rejected an idea to put one of Britain's best-selling and most loved authors on the 50p coin. An advisory committee decided that the author was a, quote, racist, sexist, homophobe. And that was that for Enid Blyton. But surely there can be nothing remotely problematic in another greatly adored work of children's fiction. The Tiger Who Came to Tea has been charming children and parents since it was published in 1968. It was famously written by Judith Kerr, who fled Germany for Britain as a teenager when the Nazis were coming to power. But no backstory can be compelling enough for those who see inappropriate material where the rest of us see simply wholesome childhood fun. A charity working to end male violence against women has come out against the Tiger Who Came to Tea because of its outdated portrayal of women and the nuclear family. If you haven't read the book, it tells the story of a tiger who turns up uninvited to join a young girl and her mother for tea. The tiger scoffs all the cakes, drinks all the tea and leaves. The girl's father, who clearly a wrong 'un, is also married to the girl's mother, turns up after a day in the office and takes both daughter and wife to a cafe. That's it. No domestic violence, no patriarchal mansplaining, just a tiger, some tea and a dad coming back from work. However, Rachel Adamson of the women's rights group Zero Tolerance told BBC Radio Scotland, we're in Scotland again, quote, "We know that gender stereotypes are harmful and they reinforce gender inequality, and that gender inequality is the cause of violence against women and girls, such as domestic abuse, rape and sexual harassment." Adamson also questioned the tiger's gender and why he was not female or gender neutral, as well as the stereotype of a paternal breadwinner. Andrew Doyle has returned to the studio. There's a bit of me that thinks this is made up.
I know exactly what you mean. And when I spoke about this morning, I got a lot of messages saying, oh, well, this is just some silly story. Why are you drawing attention?
Fringe festival, something performative.
Either it's a joke or you shouldn't be amplifying this because it's just some idiot saying something stupid. Yeah. It's not, actually. It's the head of a major charity speaking on the public broadcaster. So actually, it's perfectly legitimate to talk about this and the broader implications of this. It's all very well saying, oh, this is just some idiot saying something stupid. But actually, what it reveals is quite interesting. What it reveals is the infiltration of this new ideological way of thought into absolutely every corner of life, and particularly when it comes to the arts and creativity. Nothing cannot be problematised. You've already mentioned the example of Enid Blyton, but there will be a time when, and we've had Dr. Seuss as well, of course, the estate of Dr. Seuss saying they're no longer going to publish certain of his books. There will be nothing that will escape this, because if the Tiger Who Came to Tea can be problematised, then anything can. In this story, one of the issues, as you said, that Rachel Adamson raised is that the tiger why isn't the tiger gender neutral? So that it reveals, though, that where she's coming from is a position of gender identity ideology, which, by the way, has done more to reinforce gender stereotypes than anything over the past 10 years. This has been coming into schools and everywhere, this idea that, you know, if little boys like dolls and things, then maybe they might be female. Yeah. If little girls are tomboys, maybe they might be male. All of this, and even the designation of non-binary, which is the idea that people feel they don't fit into traditional male or female stereotypes. That's where it comes from. All of these identities and ideas are reinforcing very conservative 1950s ideas of what male and female means. Yeah. And what is interesting is Zero Tolerance as a charity, which is a domestic violence charity, which has done some very good work, right? So this is why it's tragic, because all of a sudden you've got this ideological infiltration into an otherwise important movement. And I think that's the real problem. I mean, she's also doing this thing where she's drawing a line between the representation of the tiger, or the father in the family, I think is where she's specifically talking about. And this is part of their gender and diversity audit. Zero Tolerance did an audit of 21 nurseries and examined 3,000 books within those nurseries. So this was about a broader conversation. But she's drawing a direct line between the gender stereotype as she perceives it in The Tiger Who Came to Tea, to the idea that those gender stereotypes then filter down into society, then they create rapists and wife beaters, right? Yeah. This is an incredible leap, and if you're going to make that assertion, you better have some evidence. Actually, the evidence suggests that is not the case.
Key Bono, I wonder really what the motivation is here a little bit, and I think you've rather hinted at it. You know, here's a successful charity, by many measures, doing important work, helping actually to physically keep some people safe, some women safe. Yeah. But actually, I've no idea what's going on here, OK? But let me speculate that what might have happened, which is that you'll get somebody new in who wants to make a splash, and there's also a producer interest, which is, you know, we keep on doing what we've been doing, but that doesn't really get anybody anywhere. It doesn't get my career anywhere. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do is something new. Right. Maybe even appear on BBC Radio Scotland.
Well, I mean, this is what has happened to Stonewall, hasn't it? It won all of the battles for equality for LGBT people, and then it started saying, well, what can we do now? Let's really embrace gender identity ideology. And whenever this comes into anything, it utterly decimates the purpose of the organisation. I mean, now we're in a position where, because Stonewall are pushing that, a lot of gay activists feel that they are actually homophobic in their policies because they are reinforcing these old stereotypes. You've similarly got the ACLU, the major free speech union in America, who puts out tweets such as there are no biological differences between men and women. So what you can see is the impact that this stuff has. And further than that, the idea of these gender stereotypes, and that the best way to deal with gender stereotypes is just to ban them in any form of representation, is a completely wrong-headed way about it. OK, so let's take, for example, the Advertising Standards Authority, which has now got a policy where they will ban adverts if men and women are depicted in certain roles. They banned a Volkswagen advert because there was a woman with a pram in that advert. They banned a Philadelphia cream cheese advert because it depicted two fathers being not very good at their job and leaving the babies on a food conveyor belt or something. So I just think we do have to push back against this. No one does. And this is the problem, is that you get these asinine conversations going on BBC Radio. I mean, to be fair, I didn't hear it. But I bet the interviewer wasn't pushing back on this, and we all need to.
We don't know about that. But you've really thoroughly depressed me in the last 3 minutes. Thanks a lot.
I apologise.
Andrew Doyle.
My job.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.